can point at me when we're on. We should do like 30 to like angle there. It's a double. Yeah.
Namanda, 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 Namanda,
Good morning, everyone. Once again, thank you for tuning in today to our weekly Sunday live streaming services. Today we're observing the June Shotsuki Hoyo for the Watsonville Buddhist Temple. And want to thank everybody for tuning in and continually supporting us here in Watsonville, as well as the all three temples. We'll begin with a opening reading by our minister's assistant, Mr. David Correa.
Good morning, everyone. Please put your palms together in Gasho. To conquer oneself is a great victory, than to conquer thousands in a battle. Words of the Dhammapada. Namo Amida Butsu.
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 Namo
Namo Amida Butsu.
Amida Butsu.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, David. And now we will have the sutra chanting, and beginning with the Sambujo on page 25 of the large purple service book, followed by Hyobyakumon, a dedication reading, and then the Sambutsuge on page 79. Shotsuki Hoyo. The members of the Sangha have reverently come before Amida Buddha in memory of the beloved family members. With deepest reverence and thankfulness for the all-embracing wisdom and compassion of Amida, we reaffirm the three homages. I go to the Buddha for guidance, I go to the Dharma for guidance, I go to the Sangha for guidance. Namo Kia Boots, Namo Kia Ho, Namo Kia So, Nam Mandamus, Nam Mandamus. Thank you very much. Now, I want to invite everybody to join us in the Gatha Shinshu Shuka, and you'll find it on page 216 of the large purple service book. Mandavas, Nam Mandavas, Nam Mandavas. And now I once again would like to ask our minister's assistant, David Correa, to read the threefold refuge on page 10.
Difficult is it to receive a human form, now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the Dharma of the Buddha, now we hear it. If we do not cross over to the truth in the present life, in what life shall we cross over? Let us with sincerity and true reverence take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in the Buddha. May we, together with all sentient beings, awaken to the great way of enlightenment and to the unsurpassed intent of Amida Buddha. I take refuge in the Dharma. May we, together with all sentient beings, into the storehouse of the Dharma, becoming like the wisdom ocean. I take refuge in the Sangha. May we, together with all sentient beings, become units in true accord and harmony with all things. The peerless, profound, and wondrous Dharma is rare to encounter, even in many hundreds and thousands of kalpas. Now we are privileged to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of the Tathagata's teaching. Namo Amida Butsu.
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 Sankhya-mon, Ninjin Ukegatashi, Ima Sudani Yuku, Buppo Kikigatashi, Ima Sudani Kiku, Konomi Konjo ni Mukate, Dose Zumba, Sarani, Izure no Sho ni Mukate ka, Konomi wo Dosen, Daishu Morotomo ni, Shishin ni, Sambo ni Kieshi Tate Matsuru Beshi, Mizukara Butsu ni Kieshi Tate Matsuru, Masani nega wakuwa shujo to tomoni Taido wo taige shite mujo yoko san Mizukara ho ni kieshi tate matsuru Masani nega wakuwa shujo to tomoni Fukaku kyozo ni irite chie umi no gotoku naran Mizukara so ni kieshi tate matsuru Masani nega wakuwa shujo to tomoni Daishu wo tori shite issai muge naran Mujo jinjin mimyo no ho wa Yaku sen mango ni mo ayo koto katashi Orima kenmon shi juzi suru koto etari Nega wakuwa yurai no shinjitsu gi o geshi tate matsudan Nammandavus 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 Once again, good morning everyone. Thank you for streaming in and watching our Sunday service here. I'd like to once again ask you to please put your hands together in Gasho for a reading from Shinran Shoni. In reality, all of us, including myself, talk only about what is good and evil without realizing the Tathagata's benevolence. According to the Master, he said, I do not know what the two good and evil really mean. I could say that I know what good is, if I knew good as thoroughly and completely as the Buddha. But in this foolish being filled with blind passion, living in this impermanent world of burning house, all things are empty and vain, therefore untrue. Only the Nembutsu is true, real, and sincere. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you. Well, it's hard to believe that it's already June, and in a few weeks we'll begin officially the beginning of summer. Over the past 2.5 months, we've all had to make so many adjustments in our life. Over the past 2.5 months, in a way, it prepares us for more difficult adjustments in our life. It's sort of like being in a relationship or being married. You know, we make adjustments all the time in our relationships with our wives and husbands. We accept and accommodate, and sometimes we compromise our way of life. This is adjustments. But we have to really also think about how the other person is making adjustments for us, how they are accommodating us, compromising for us, doing things for us. Last night, I was telling some people, and I was telling Jane, that I'm having a really hard time trying to figure out what I wanted to talk about today. There's so much that I wanted to express, so much that I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about Black Lives Matters. I wanted to denounce the racism and discrimination that pervades our society. The killing of young black men and women is appalling and is sickening. I hope that with the Buddha Dharma as our guide, we can work together to dismantle the systematic and institutional racism that pervades our society. Not just within our society, but within ourselves as well, within our organizations, and in the community around us. I'll be talking more about this in a post that I'm planning to put on our website, but today is a memorial. It is the June memorial for those who have died in this month. And if you're like me, these gatherings, we think about our parents, we think about our moms and our dads, we think about family members who have died. We wonder about them, and we miss them in our lives. And no matter how much time passes, no matter how hard we try to forget or direct ourselves to other things or distract ourselves, without even trying, all of our memories and feelings, they never fade, no matter how much time passes. I remember very clearly the day that my brother died. And I can see everybody around as we stood by his bedside. I remember the day my mother died and what I was doing. I clearly remember the day my father died and all the mixed emotions that I had at the time. I can never forget the day that Reverend Hamada died. And I relived that moment about my pain than theirs, because they are settled and they are fine. It is my struggle to overcome that loss. So we've all had to make adjustments in life to all the changes that life brings us. We have to make adjustments living our life without those that we love, for those who are no longer physically with us. It seems each day I have to adjust to the events going on in the world. I go from being angry to sad, to frustrated, to anxious, to confusion, all in a single day, all in a moment. How do we extinguish these flames that burn in our hearts? The confusion we struggle with. In Buddhism, the blind passions is rooted in our minds. The greed, the anger, and the ignorance are often compared to the flames of fire. And nirvana, enlightenment, describes a state in which the flame of all blind passions is extinguished and the ultimate enlightenment is attained. We always look at the world from our self-centered way of thinking. In truth, our confusion cannot be helped. That is the way that we are. And we will continue to be that way. We have always looked at the world with our self-centered thoughts. We are the center of the universe, and everything swirls around us. And because of that, we fail to understand, and we fail to take responsibility. And when we fail, we always blame others, because we are the center of all things. We cannot extend loving kindness fully to others. We will help those that we love, those that are closest to us, but we ignore others. Shakyamuni Buddha really understood this about us and this human dilemma that cannot see things clearly. We create our own foolish view of the world. That is why he encourages all to adjust our lives, adjust in how we look at the world, adjust how we look at situations around us, based on the truth of the Dharma. Although I cannot see things clearly, I make judgments about right and wrong, good and bad, evil and good. I continually wake up each morning. I continually feel frustrated, anxious, angry, and sad. However, I am able to encounter the Buddha's teachings, the Nembutsu. I feel supported and sustained by that Nembutsu. As we encounter the Dharma, we will be able to live as true human beings. We'll be able to see ourselves and all things as they truly are. The beauty of the Buddha Dharma is that the vow of Amida Buddha embraces each and every one of us, just as we are, knowing that we cannot discern between good and evil. As Shinran says, cannot fully know what good and evil is. Shinran Shonin, in his Shozo Matsu Wasan, writes a 4-line passage that is so profound. And I'd like to end my talk this morning with a quote from Shinran Shonin and his Shozo Matsu Wasan. Please join me in Gasho. Because the power of the vow is without limits, even our evil karma, so deep and heavy, is not burdensome. Because the Buddha's wisdom is without bounds, even the bewildered and the wayward are not abandoned. Namo Amida Butsu.
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 Thank you. Now I'd like to ask once again David Career, our minister's assistant, to share with us the Gobunsho of Daniel Shonin.
Shinran Shonin taught that the essence of Jodo Shinshu is Shinjin. The reason is that by abandoning all other practices and completely entrusting ourselves in Amida Buddha, our spiritual rebirth is assured by Amida through the inconceivable power of the primal vow. This is known as entering the ranks of the truly assured at the very moment of Shinjin. Thereafter, all utterances of the Nembutsu should be understood only as expression of gratitude for Amida's assurance of our spiritual rebirth. With reverence, I remain. Namo Amida Butsu.
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 Namo
Amida
Amida
Butsu.
Shonin Nichi Ryu no go kanke no onomuki wa shinji no motte honto surare soro. Sono yue wa moro moro no zogi o nage sutete isshin ni ida kimi o sureba fugashigi no ganriki to shite bun no kata yori ojo wa jijo sashimeta mo そのくらいを一年簿記入賞状始終とも釈しその上の称名念仏如来我が往生はせしめたもそのくらいを法人の念仏と心べきなりあなかしこ Arakashiko Namandavus Namandavus Namandavus. Now I'd like to ask everyone to join us in the Gatha Ondok-san 2 on page 220 of your large purple service book. closed today. Next week, June 14th, we will do, again, live streaming services from the Monterey Buddhist Temple, where we will observe their June Shotsuki Hoyo. It'll be 10 o'clock next Sunday, June 14th. And then 2 weeks from today, on the 21st, we will observe the Salinas Shotsuki Hoyo service and be live streaming from Salinas Buddhist Temple. I'd like to ask David Correa once again to close the service with a closing reading. Please join him in Gasho.
To utter pleasant words without practicing them is like being a fine flower without fragrance. Words from the Dhammapada. Namo Amida Butsu.
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 Namo Amida
Namo Butsu.
Thank you very much, David. This will conclude our services today. I want to remind everyone to continue to practice social distancing, to wear your masks, wash your hands often, and we will be continually live streaming services for the rest of the month and into July. We probably will not be open for services until the fall. Please check our website, check your emails and your temple newsletters for updated information. This will conclude our services today. I want to thank David Correa for his assistance today, Perry Yoshida and Kim Yoshida for their support today, and Patrick Casey for doing our camera work today, and Jane for directing everybody on what to do. Thank you very much. Please join me in Gasho. Namo Amida Butsu.
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 Namo Amida Butsu.